There's one stock that is about to rocket. The company is HIVE. It was a crypto mining stock. They've pivoted, like a lot of crypto mining stocks have, into AI infrastructure, which is more energy efficient and offers a higher revenue opportunity right now, aka not just OpenAI has massive requirements, but even if it was only OpenAI, they're going to spend like $50 billion a year on data center, on compute. That's going to trickle down into not just NVIDIA GPUs, but also the companies that those GPUs connect on, the server racks, which compose the data centers. HIVE is at the center of all of this. Let's jump into why it's at a favorable place to buy right now, and also what it is they exactly do. If you like this type of video, hit that like button.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
So here is the chart, and it's pretty attractive given all this massive volume coming in. You know, the volume trailed off, but it held higher lows, and now here we are again, getting up at an important level where we started to go down back at the end of 2024. And when I say we, if I look at some other plays, they all, well, this one actually dropped more at the tariff starts, but these are some other crypto miners that sort of pivoted into AI data centers, and you can see that they've absolutely rocketed. They've had tons of volume since then. Galaxy Digital, another one. This is sort of like a hedge fund, Frankenstein type holding company situation. But they're very crypto oriented, and they're sort of an analog to this HIVE company. See, they're a financial technology company. This DEFT is. And yeah, Galaxy Digital is actually buying this company. All I'm saying is that all these companies are basically doing a mess of different types of transactions. And all that we can really say as far as these crypto mining companies is which ones haven't gone up yet. And HIVE is one that definitely started to, went from 2 to 4. But again, if we look at some of these other ones, Cipher went from 2 to 12. Even Mara and Riot have more than doubled. Well, actually, Mara hasn't at all. But don't let me get you down here. Let's take a look at exactly what this company does and why it's interesting to buy. Okay. Here is the chart in the last few months. Well, really just the last month it's gone sideways. And it's starting to break here and sort of have a change of character. And, you know, just to sort of cross all our T's, why has Riot gone up and not Mara in the last few months? There was probably some type of negative news related, but as far as HIVE goes, okay, they're in the same bucket of companies. BitF is another one I didn't mention, Bitfarms, which also had a massive move up. So this is definitely the theme right now. And I think HIVE is interesting because they're not really as talked about, okay? And this Galaxy Digital company securing $1 billion financing is a ton. And this company, CoreWeave, has been super hot. And they actually just had a piece of news today that finally made the stock go up. And we kind of thought, you know, CoreWeave was left for dead here after this IPO move, and then it came back down. But it turns out here was the deal with Meta, and it's a big one. Meta's kind of playing catch up, and they just made a $14 billion deal with CoreWeave for AI cloud infrastructure, which will help pay off CoreWeave's like $9 billion of debt. There was some concern about if CoreWeave was sort of like just pushing out this debt and not able to actually get customers. But I guess we solved that answer. Here's $14 billion. That should solve that debt for the next year or more. So CoreWeave's looking promising all of a sudden. Can't in good faith tell you to buy it now because this deal just happened, so it already went up. But I did mention it last week. Now, this is the one I'm trying to mention before something happens, and it's HIVE. Okay, could this be the next CoreWeave? Could this be the next Cypher? Could this be the next Riot? Could this be the next Bitfarms? Could this be the next Galaxy Digital? I don't necessarily know exactly why. You know, this is the space, high performance computing, that they're all pretty much related to. Bitfarms had a big move, so that makes sense that Riot being invested in Bitfarms would make Riot to go up as well, whereas Mara would not. Okay, that sort of makes sense if there's that connection. Oh, and this would really do it if there was a serious debt offering. Oh, this was more than 18 months ago. So I think we just mainly have to chalk it up to this Bitcoin stake right here, Bitfarm stake, because Bitfarm went crazy. Sorry, a little side quest there, but sometimes you have to know why a company skyrockets. Well, it's sort of sympathy company does not. I mean, we can see that they sort of moved in lockstep. This went up, this went down, you know, this went up, this went down, and then only recently have they separated, kind of like Microstrategy separating from Bitcoin. People always say Microstrategy looks terrible in the past few weeks, right? Months, rather. So here's the deal. We're not trying to just talk about a bunch of random information here. We're trying to say, here's an important level to buy. This is sort of breaking this downward trend. You don't have to believe in buying that way, but, you know, some people like to just say, hey, draw a sideways line. If it gets there, I'll buy it. You know, if it doesn't, I won't. Fine. But I'm just saying there are opportunities where, say this comes back and touches this moving average, you can buy it with really low risk. You know, it did wick down here. This is in 24-hour charts. This includes overnight moves, which you may or may not stop out on. That's at your discretion. But you can get in, risk 50 cents, 20 cents, whatever it is. Make $2, $4, you know. Maybe make even just a 5x on your risk, 5-to-1 risk reward, however you like to call it. You don't want to get too nitty gritty with, you know, how many R's you're trying to get. The point is, you jump in, you risk a little bit. This whole change of character could happen where this thing goes nuclear in a good way, not in like a pull back glow type of way. So that's the chart. This is the last 30 days. And if we zoom out, we can see these levels. $4 whole dollar level is really important, going back to September 24. If we really zoom out, yeah, there will be another resistance up at 670, or at least a visual pivot where people are going to see that and make a decision if it's worth that much or not. And then 7, and then up at 1050. So those are the levels. And as far as what else we want to know about this company before we basically, this isn't a we thing. You can take this information, do whatever you want with it. It's just an idea, but here's the deal. What happened for HIVE? Okay. That's a lot. If they're able to mine 2% of the global Bitcoin network, that is a lot. They are international, and they're mining 9 Bitcoin a day, okay, with pretty big margin, but it sounds like the margin is even bigger for allowing their data centers to be leased for AI companies. Because, and this is the argument made in 20VC, I guess, that some guest made, I think it was like a CEO of a chip company, was that if you gave OpenAI, ChatGPT, which I'm using right now, double the computing capacity, they would double their revenue in the next month. Because, like, what am I doing here? I keep pressing retry, you know, as soon as I ask a question. Not only is it slow, it's slow to answer. Well, it's not actually slow, it's just we're so used to things happening instantaneously that if they had double the number of tokens, they could serve this in half a second instead of a full second. I wouldn't have to wait for all this like tombstone loading, and then there also wouldn't be that limiting factor where it limits my number of queries. So all this to say, if this is true and it actually is much higher revenue to pivot into data centers, then it makes a ton of sense that they're doing that. They obviously know what they're talking about. If they've mined 2% of the global Bitcoin network or have the capacity to do so, they are right alongside these big names. Again, Riot had a stake in Bitfarms. Bitfarms went absolutely ape upwards in stock price. And they reported a 22% increase in Bitcoin production in August. Okay, which certainly made them go up. So now the question is, now they're up there at $4 a share. Are there risks? They do have debt. Debt can make things move way up and also way down. So we have to be a little careful about that. Part of that move to the upside might have been part of that debt. And then also 50 million, but negative free cash flow of 200 million. I don't even know what that means, despite reporting a profit of 50 million. So they're not actually keeping the cash, it sounds like. In other words, they're building out a bunch of new capacity, or they're trying to pay off that debt. That has to be what that means. I can't think of any other reason. So that's a problem, right? You don't just want cash to be like a biotech. You want cash if you're any type of company. And we don't have to worry about this price decline because it's gone right back up. Renewable energy is great in terms of the global scrutiny on, the problems of mining Bitcoin. I don't think that's a big deal for us investing in this company or investing to make money. And also, there's pretty much an overwhelming sea of enthusiasm over AI. So these data centers are going to get built no matter what. It just is what it is. You have to buy carbon credits or do something to offset it, or something unrelated to how you're investing. It is what it is. Now, this could be a problem, but again, I don't think that ESG thing is going to stall this given the administration. And it sounds like these AI data center build-outs are going to take longer than 5 years. So even the next administration, no matter who it is, I think this is all here to stay. So they're transitioning. That's part of that big rise in price, not just being able to mine more Bitcoin. They're actually making moves, it sounds like, to build out these centers or convert them. This is a lot of GPUs. And I mean, Canada does have Waterloo, so this is not like a toy project. It's a serious AI hive, like the Oxford of Canada, I guess. And then DeepMind is in Canada, or in Toronto, I believe it was 5 years ago. So here's the deal. They've got revenue from AI GPUs. They're expanding. They've got data centers in all these major countries. I guess they don't have the cash flow right now, but they're moving into an area where we just saw what happened with CoreWeave's agreement, and this could happen to HIVE as well. So CoreWeave had a bunch of that. We're worried about that capacity that they have being actually utilized, and then Meta said, yeah, we'll take that. We need it. Zuckerberg had an idea, sleeping, woke up and spent $14 million. And then that could happen to HIVE as well. So watch for it. The whole point is we're talking about stocks before that stuff like that happens at agreeable price levels, where even if that doesn't happen, you still have a great opportunity to get a nice 3 to 5 day burst, maybe make 10-15%. So half your position, trail half, and maybe hold it for, up to 10, or maybe it comes back down, more likely, right? And then you have to sell half and you're still up on your position. So that's the name of the game. If you like these stock ideas, we'll try to make them a little chiller maybe in the future. Maybe we'll do some flashy graphics and some b-roll. But for now, it seems like the type of customer that this type of content is attracting is a good customer who is not looking for day trading tips. You're looking for stock ideas you can sit in for a week or more, relatively low risk. And if you want to hear about the cream of the crop stock ideas and not, the 8 a day that I've been putting out the last couple of days at least, head over to stockscommunity.com. Try it out for $25 for 7 days. And if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, hit that and you will be notified of more videos. I'll see you in the next one.
This is Sam Putnam. This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.
This is Sam Putnam.